Episode number 231, Labor Day Camaro news and more. Welcome to the Camaro Show.
A podcast about all things Camaro and GM performance news.
I'm Chris Frezza.
And I'm Jason Debler.
We're your hosts for this week's episode of the Camaro Show. Want to be part of our show? It's easy.
Just leave a message on our voicemail hotline at 586-486-3182.
So sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. And welcome back, everyone, for another exciting episode of the Camaro Show. I'm Chris.
I'm Jason.
And we have a special guest joining us in the studio this week.
Might have heard of him before.
Yeah, Manny Katakas from Muscle Cars and Trucks. What's up, Manny?
Good to be back again, guys.
Yeah.
Welcome back to the studio once again. We love having you, and we're glad to have you here because there's just a whole lot of cool stuff going on these days, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Labor Day special.
The Labor Day special sales extravaganza.
Yeah, we got lots to talk about.
Limited one per customer.
Wait, are you talking about the Popeyes chicken sandwiches?
Oh, dude. I will wait. I'll wait for the hype to die down, and then I'll just sneak in.
They're sold out nationwide now anyway, so.
Are they 100% sold out?
They are 100% sold out.
We need to kill more chickens.
But they're coming back. So
I hope so, because remember I told you I went into one and stood in line for 5 minutes before at an empty counter before anybody said, "Can I help you?" And I finally get there. I'm like, "Yeah, can I get one of the new chickens?" We fresh out.
What's the secret? Why are they so? Because you tried it.
I've
right?
had it several times.
So this is your fault.
Yeah, that's right. How dare you want something that everybody else
I had
wants?
it before it even went viral. So basically, it's just a really huge piece of. It's like a chicken breast.
Yeah.
It's buttermilk battered.
Mm.
It's cooked perfectly. So normally when you get a chicken sandwich, it's kind of dry, juicy, very juicy. And then they either put, if you get the regular, just mayo and pickle, or a chipotle sauce and pickle on a fresh potato bun. I think it's a potato bun.
Really?
Yeah. So it's really good.
It's a little bit of a curveball, the potato
Is
bun.
it a potato bun? I can't remember if it's a potato bun or is that Burger King.
I thought it was.
Would you try that?
Hell, I thought this was a car podcast.
Did you try that Impossible Burger yet that Burger King's serving
I
up?
did.
What'd you think?
You got to watch the videos that
Me
Chris made.
and Jason both did it, and we both put them on YouTube.
There's also the taco that we can talk about as well.
Yeah.
So the Burger King taco, that is.
What Burger King has a taco? Oh boy.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that later. I'll talk about that later. Let's not bore.
Let's talk
everybody
about Labor Day extravaganza. We got Camaro news. We got Corvette news. We got Manny here to talk about what the heck is going on in the world of automotive news and
It's what I do best.
You've got some stuff you want to share with us
Got
too.
some scoops. Got some stuff. You guys want to talk about mid-engine Corvette or what's even?
Let's talk about.
Where to start? Where to start?
Let's talk about a stock Camaro SS Vert beating the pants off somebody's Hennessy's super truck.
Yeah,
What's the story
somebody.
with that.
Somebody. I don't know. Somebody took the video. Well, obviously,
Hennessy took the video.
So
down.
they made the video private, and nobody seems to have a copy of this. And people were like, "How can a stock convertible SS beat what is it, a 700 horsepower truck?"
758 horsepower.
Yeah.
So how is this possible?
Well, I mean,
The truck probably weighs a ton.
the truck definitely has a lot more weight, and then it's also just this giant block barn door, going through the air. And the Camaro's obviously much more aerodynamic, lighter, and able to put the power down a lot more effectively, right? So, all that being said, it's still funny that a 450 horsepower Camaro SS convertible, and just when you add that little it's a convertible, right? It's just like what, and so 300. If I do my math correctly, even though I didn't go to school for math, you're down 300 horsepower, you still win. It's hilarious.
With the top down too.
Well, I would like to, because if I have to admit, I went and I assigned it to a writer of mine, and when I went into edit it and publish it, I was like, wait a minute, he between him finishing the draft and me publishing it, the video disappeared.
Uh,
And that was when we roll this, the 26th of August. So it was 4 days ago, somewhere on August 26th.
somebody got mad.
Poof. Somebody made it private.
Someone made it private.
Well,
That's all right.
maybe it'll be back.
Be realistic. Just because there's more factors than just 0 to whatever.
Sure.
Let's think about a Copo Camaro. I mean, I think one of the Copo Camaro packages has not even 400 and some odd horsepower.
Yeah,
but it'll
but that's
annihilate
a bold-faced lie, and everyone knows it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What'd you say? Wait a minute. What?
That's all. Rating the NHRA cars is like just gentleman's like agreement. So how much did you say your horsepower has? 400. Okay, here's 400.
Yeah. Big deal. Big deal.
Oh, 8 seconds. What?
I used to know when I had my first Camaro, a 96 Camaro SS, I worked with a guy that had like an S10 with a V8 in it and big meaty tires and traction bars and
Jacked
all that
up.
on it. And we took each other it wasn't jacked up, but it wasn't low either. It was just pretty much, a V8 S10, which is kind of cool, but it was a home built dealie. He took me for a ride in his, I took him for a ride in mine, and he's like, the thing is about me racing a car like yours is if I win, I get to say, you got beat by a truck. But if I lose, I get to say, what do you expect? It's a truck.
Yeah, so he never actually loses.
True.
He's always got that rebuttal in his pocket.
True.
Yeah, so Hennessy could say that.
Yeah,
What do you expect? It's a truck.
Well, yeah, and I mean Hennessy's also they're known for the viral YouTube videos. They're known for big high output. Oh, we're gonna put 1,200 horsepower in the Camaro ZL1. Oh, we're call it the Exorcist or whatever that whatever the output was. And you stop and think it's like, oh, this has only got a 12,000 mile warranty. I mean, you might as well not have one. By the way, and that warranty is only good for a year.
Yeah.
Okay. So definitely going to just be someone's like garage queen.
Yeah.
No one's really going to take that out.
Don't say that like it's a bad thing.
Well, I'm just saying, cars are meant to be driven. At least that's my honest opinion.
Well, that
I would, but it'd catch itself on fire. So we can talk about that in later.
Oof.
Your article brought out a lot of people who wanted to talk about whether they have differences with Hennessy, and but
Shocking.
we won't get into that here. But yeah, that was a good article. I enjoyed it.
Yeah. Oh, and by the way, that Velociraptor, so it's a Coyote swap, right? So it's supercharged Coyote, and that's $147,000 and change.
Woo.
Almost $148,000. So you're essentially, what is that? Triple quadruple the price of a Camaro SS convertible.
Wow. Yeah.
What they need to do is like drop that thing down and turn it into a street truck, and then you'd probably see something fun. Some good quarter-mile times.
What we need to do is get Hennessy's truck against SVE's Cyclone.
Ooh.
That'd be cool. That'd be more fair.
I still don't understand like why no one is bringing back like the 454 SS, the F-150 Lightning, or you remember the SRT 10
of course.
Ram? Oh man, like the street truck, because there's so much fun stuff happening right now in the truck space, but it's kind of all just being kind of focused on the off-road stuff, or like making them like more premium. But I something in my gut just tells me that the market is like primed for another street truck.
Ooh.
So
I would love to see like another Typhoon or something like
yeah,
that.
as far as I know, it's just not. GM isn't working on one as far as I know.
We've been,
but even still, like there's actually, you heard it here first. Ford trademarked the Thunder name recently, and that's like if you remember maybe Thunder, Lightning. I don't know.
Yeah.
Could be something there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We'll see. Maybe for the next generation F-150, because that comes out in I think a year, so we might see something.
Interesting.
Anyway, moving on.
Okay. What else we got here for? Do we got any other Camaro news you want to talk about?
Well, there is actually recently announced there was an ESL, or basically electronic limited slip diff. I just pulled this up. Drag race calibration for the Camaro ZL1.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, so I'm on gm-techlink.com, and it says new performance calibration is available from Chevrolet Performance for the 2017 to 2019 Camaro ZL1 models. And when it comes to Canada, apparently, and the cal is supposed to enhance launch capabilities on the drag strip, The calibration has been developed through continuous drag strip development of the Camaro ZL1 to enable enhanced performance right off the starting line.
Love that.
So
Me too.
I wonder if it's just an ICCM swap. The EALSD drag race cal requires reprogramming of the chassis control module. So yeah, you're basically taking the ICCM and reflashing it. Contact Techline Customer Support Center for programming requirements and the Vehicle Configuration Index. VCI is valid for the specific VIN provided by the technician. To install the calibration, reprogram the chassis control module using the service programming system.
Now, is this something the dealership would do?
Yeah.
Nice.
And it doesn't give, I'm not seeing it's giving you a part number or an instruction ID. No. I don't -techlink.com. This is an official General Motors website.
Okay. I'm going to link that up in the show notes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you give me enough time, I will write about it.
Okay.
Yeah, you and your team, cranking out article after article after article, really growing a great presence, and so we appreciate supporting your site and your journalism and your quality of your articles. I love them.
No boring cars.
No, that's right. No boring cars.
No
Or boring
cars.
trucks.
Or boring
What?
trucks. Or boring SUVs.
Right.
What I've been interested in reading about from muscle cars and trucks is the new Corvette C8. And you guys are really doing a lot of stuff, because I read this week, like Car and Driver dropped this article, and they're like, there's going to be a new Z06.
Oh,
and
that
it's
was
gonna-
that was Automobile and Motor Trend.
Oh, okay. So
Yeah.
they sourced them.
Yeah. So, I mean, here's what I guess. Yeah, it was earlier this week, right? And they said there's going to be a new Z06, going to have 800 plus horsepower, and it's going to have a twin turbo V8. And I said, so I knew that they were working on this, right? It was going to be the LT7 twin turbo DOHC V8, and we've seen CAD renderings as far back as 2 years ago of this thing.
I remember those.
Yeah, and everyone that published them basically got a cease and desist because they were actual GM
Sure, it was stolen.
Yeah. So that was a thing that happened, and so I was like, but when they did that essentially confirms that this is legit, that someone didn't
Yep.
make this up, right?
Right.
So, basically, knowing that, and then from what my sources were telling me, is that this is coming, but this isn't a Z06. What they're describing in the article is a ZR1.
Ooh.
So I went back and based on my information, published a story talking about the same vehicle, that's with the same output and the same engine. But I clarified that this is a ZR1, and the Z06 is actually going to be a more true to roots, naturally aspirated DOHC V8, high revving, lightweight, finesse, just screamer. And
So is this what they're talking about with the flat plane crank?
allegedly going to have a flat plane crank, and what happens there is you're able to basically achieve a higher engine speed. You see that in the Ford Mustang GT 350. I think, what is it, the 8,500 RPM, whatever. This one allegedly is going to go to 8,600 RPM.
Oh my gosh.
It's gonna rev
Yeah.
for
Yeah,
days.
so anyone that's used to the small block engine in Corvettes and Camaros now, you stop at just over 6,000 RPM.
Yeah, yep.
No, you've got 2,000 more, buddy. You can just keep going.
It's like a tiny small blast.
So
Dude.
do you think they would do a manual transmission with it too?
No, a manual is just completely out of the question. It's going to be a dual clutch transmission throughout the entire Corvette lineup, and that's it. It's going to be, I think, that 8-speed. And between all the vehicles, all the Corvette variants that are going to come out, it's going to basically be the same unit, maybe different internals, maybe different gears or whatever. And so I can't say it enough. There's just not a manual transmission coming. Period. They might have patented a clutch by wire system which would allow for something like a manual transmission to happen, and maybe that will happen. Maybe it'll be in a different vehicle. I don't know. Sometimes you just sit on the patent, you never use it. But it's just as far as I know, this will, the mid-engine Corvette's a lot of revolutionary things, a lot of firsts, but aside from the mid-engine configuration, it will only be a dual clutch transmission.
Wow.
Interesting news.
Yeah, so you're gonna have that Z06, and then you're gonna have the ZR1.
What's going to come first?
I don't know. I assume the Z06, because why would you go up and then down? In terms of the hierarchy, you want to release something crazier and crazier and crazier every year. But before those, I believe before those even show up, you're looking at the Corvette C8 E-Ray, which is essentially going to be a Stingray hybrid. So it's going to use the LT2 small block V8 that's in the back of the Stingray. And after that, they're going to basically, so like what you see in the frunk of the C8 Stingray right now, they're dropping, they're going to drop some battery packs in there. And essentially, what I believe that the output for the small block V8 is going to be unchanged, and then you're going to add, I'm not sure how much horsepower and torque from the front. This is not a plug-in. It's not going to be a plug-in. It's going to be a conventional hybrid.
Be like an assist.
Not in a, no, kind of like how a Prius works. No, but
but
much faster.
Yeah. Not a plug-in. And there were photo or a video from the guys at TFL that live in Colorado.
Oh yeah.
So they do the
We know
altitude.
those guys.
Yeah. So they do the altitude. They constantly are going around hotel parking lots and looking for vehicles that do the altitude testing. Hey,
The guy can be rather, how do I put it? Excited when he sees these.
Remember, I would say,
Jason, remember that one?
Very excited.
Oh my God! Look at here. We just came up on this guy. Look, we're gonna tail him now. We're here.
So
you've seen it here first. You've seen it here first.
As far as I can tell, everyone has so far misreported on this. Everyone's like, "Oh, this is the 1,000 horsepower super hybrid Corvette." I was like, "No, there's going to be two hybrid Corvettes. One is the E-Ray, and the other one is going to be the Zora. And the Zora is the one. That's the white whale. That's the one that's going to be like 1,000 horsepower LT7 hybrid all-wheel drive, balls to the wall, at hypercar, a hypercar in every sense of the word.
All-wheel drive.
Yes, but you're not going to see that for several years. Wow. So, let alone a Ford one, right? I don't know how much it's going to cost, but you can assume probably much more than a C7 ZR1. So the bookends of the C8 is, and basically the breadth of the lineup is going to expand greatly. And you're going to have two hybrids, and the first one's going to be the E-Ray. I'm not even sure anymore if what we saw in that video is the E-Ray, because I believe that those are just jump ports, because the cars, these prototypes, never really turn off, so it kills the battery. And so you're constantly, because they're just in accessory mode, like 24/7. So engineers constantly are having to jump the cars, and so those little ports that are hanging out of the front end, it could just be that. But then again, you're seeing the whole the frunks all taped off and such, and there's really no reason for these prototypes to have the camo. You're just at this point drawing more attention to yourself than necessary. But we've seen this stuff kind of happens before. I'm still seeing Cadillacs, what are they called, CT4s and CT5s on camo, driving around. They're coming out, basically a month or two. So,
what's the purpose?
Yeah. So what's the purpose? I don't know, but we know that there is a hybrid Corvette coming, and it's going to be kind of a step up from the Stingray, and then after that is going to be, I think, the Z06, then the ZR1, then the Zora. I don't know where the Grand Sport is. I don't know.
If there's going to be one, if it's going to fall.
I believe that there will be a Grand Sport, right? I don't know where it's going to be. Where's the timeline on it? That one, I think would be the coolest thing to do with the Grand Sport name is if you went back all the way to the original and you just made it a track car. Kind of like a Ferrari at FXX or whatever, those special or track special cars.
Wow.
I think that would be cool. I don't know if they're going to do that.
So what I'm going to ask next, of course, is logical. What do you think? Do you think this will go to Camaro? Can you see an electric?
No.
Electric LT2 going into a Camaro.
So it would be an LT1.
Okay.
Because the LT2 is essentially it's an LT it's the LT2 is an LT1 designed for mid-engine application because it's tweaked, slightly, the intake and exhaust and all that stuff.
Okay.
They had to designate it to be called a new engine, but for all intents and purposes, it is largely an LT1. Camaro hybrid, I mean, it's charted to 2023. It's just not going to happen. After 2023. I've even heard rumblings that, and remember I broke this story that they're gonna, whatever plans were for the 7th gen Camaro, they got put on the shelf. They might be starting from a clean slate. I don't know, but what you're looking at is 2023. After that, it's charted to nothing. But what I do know is that all the GM electric vehicle programs are under a really tight lid right now, and if there is a rear-wheel drive performance car that resembles Camaro and is electric, like that could be coming. I don't know if they're going to call that Camaro. I don't know if the world is ready for an electric Camaro. You know what I mean?
I'm ready for an electric Camaro.
Okay,
but like you said, the world
is not ready.
Yeah,
and
look,
if you thought sales were bad now,
they lost their shit with the 19.
Yeah.
with the bow tie. I can imagine what would happen with the purists and a lot of the Camaro enthusiasts if they came out with an electric only Camaro.
There would be riots.
It would be bad.
Yeah, it would be. And I mean, it's not just that the world isn't ready. It's like the infrastructure as it stands is ready. Like I drive a Volt. Why do I drive a Volt? Because, well, it kind of gives you the best of both worlds. It's like it's a super efficient means of transportation, but I can drive it to California if I wanted to, and not have to worry about where I'm going to plug it in.
Right.
So there's and you're kind of like seeing it too in like GM's rhetoric of going full BEV, full electric, right? And with that, you're kind of stuck like wondering like, okay, well, if you're not going to do hybrids anymore, or you're just not going to invest in hybrids, logically, I can't see a Camaro hybrid.
Right.
I could more logically see an electric Camaro, but I really don't want to see that. I don't think the world is ready for it. Call it something.
The structure isn't built.
Well, and it's just like, well, first of all, the fan base, right? But I think that a good model to look at is Polestar, Volvo Polestar brand. They essentially launched like they took the Polestar name and they launched it into a new brand, and it's going to be exclusively for electric performance vehicles. And I think you kind of need to do that, right? Because like there's too much legacy, there's too much history associated with even like not just nameplates like Camaro, but even like Chevrolet in general. So, I mean, if you really want to start off on a new path, if you want to build up from ground zero on something and really get people to treat it as like something that's brand new, I don't know.
Like create a new brand.
You have to create a new brand, and I mean that's just my opinion, but I think that might be a better solution than to try to constantly mold and shape and construct and contort the stuff that's already existing and out there and that's resonating with a large audience. Like if you're constantly manipulating that, then your footing and as a brand kind of like erodes, and you're suddenly like, what are we? Who are we? Right?
We're getting deep.
Yeah, you gotta think about this. Otherwise, you kill brands, and you kill nameplates.
Look
right?
what happened to Pontiac.
Yeah. So anyway, that is full circle. What is coming to Corvette, and potentially what we could see well into the future with Camaro. But again, you flip a coin on that one. Yeah. I can't make a proclamation that that's happening one way or the other.
Jason, have you seen the C8 yet? Have you been able to get up and close personal with it?
Not in person yet, no.
Yeah, the Corvette Museum has one now.
Yeah, I'll probably make the trip up there.
I was at Les Stanford Chevrolet when they were doing that tour, and there was that orange one that I guess that they're parading around, and I was able to get pretty close to it, and they had it pretty much for 2 days from like 9 a.m. to 8 p.m. And there was just a crowd all day. Like,
oh yeah,
wow.
And Everyone's just a line to go in. They were letting people like sit in it. Like you just come in, you
Yeah.
sit and poke around and whatever. So obviously a lot of excitement, a lot of traditional Corvette customers still kind of coming in, but also like you saw a couple of people who were like really curious and they wanted to check it out.
That's what I heard when I was at Woodward this year, and we talked about this in our last episode too, and getting up and close and personal with the Corvette that was inside that building that they had on Woodward. A lot of people walking around it were like pointing at, okay, I'm going to order this color, and I'm going to order with this seat, and I'm going to order.
Liar.
A lot of
Liar.
It was a lot of older people, dude, and they were like, I'm going to get this and this. So I think they're gonna sell a lot of these cars.
Yeah, I think they're absolutely going to sell.
I mean, and at the price point, I mean,
$60,000. Oh my!
it's perfect
For starters.
and I think that's only going to last a year.
It's kind of like giving everyone a rocket launcher. You kind of like Dodge did the same thing with the Hellcat when it first came out. They were just like, wait, you can just buy 700 horsepower muscle car. Like it's not limited edition. It's not $1 million. I can just go to the really. And so it's kind of like that. It's that same sort of like wow, like but I think but way more than what Dodge did with Hellcat. Like you're giving everyone a what an American way, right? Like a mass produced supercar.
That's great.
Coming after Italian horse meat.
Oh, Italian.
Oh man, it's too cool. Corvette is just really, you know what? And if it was $20,000 more, it'd have 20% of the crowd.
I don't know, man. I still think you could.
No, I'm right. You're wrong.
$80,000 mid-engine car. I still think you can do it. I still think
fine.
That's totally possible. And
Whatever, dude.
Man. They're all going to sell with $20,000 in options and $20,000 in markups. Like you thought that. I don't know if you guys saw, but the Toyota. There was a guy a dealership trying to sell a Toyota Supra for $200,000.
A new Toyota Supra.
Yeah, and which by the way is just a BMW Z4, and so what happens is he still found a sucker not to pay $200,000, but he paid $100,000. I mean, we're seeing this is just the Supra, and I mean I don't that one still boggles me. I don't understand how people are biting on this thing, which is not a real. First of all, it's not a real Toyota. Second of all, it's just it's too much sports car, and then like everyone loves the Mark IV Supra, right? The with the ones with the signature lights and the big wing.
Of course.
And this is like not that. This isn't the dragster that people were looking for. So I don't know about that one. But yeah, you're gonna see that way more, I think, with the Corvette. Those markups.
Yeah, at first. And then they're gonna be everywhere, and then it'll be cool. And then I'll have one.
Well, it's interesting too. I mean, you posted an article too that a lot of the people on Corvette forum are banding together, and they're posting dealerships and stuff like
My
that.
dog agrees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we did that too when the fifth gen came out. We did it was what was it refusecamaromarkups.com.
That's right.
And that was just like refuse. These idiot dealers who were if you want to buy it from us, you're going to pay $20,000 more, or you're going to pay $10,000 more. And all the idiot California dealers out there still got brand new Z28s on the lot for $90,000.
Keep sucking.
Yeah.
Just like I said.
Yeah, that's also like a group of people that I'm still like. I mean, I could be in the room with you for like 10 minutes. After that, I don't know.
Oh man.
It's
all right.
A diverse group.
It sure is. We're running out of time here, but we got a couple more things to talk about. Let's see here. So let's listen. We talk about Chevrolet in general. We talk about Hennessy and their truck, and we talked about the calibration for the ZL1, Corvette Z6. Chris Harris's Z28. Did we talk about that?
We didn't talk about that yet.
Talk about that real quick. Who the heck is Chris Harris?
Chris Harris, first of all, is a hero. I don't know if you know that. So he's
Instagram
basically
star or something like that.
No. So he's Chris Harris. He's a British guy. He worked for a magazine. I forget which British car magazine. Ended up leaving, and he's ventured off and started his own YouTube channel. Really before YouTube, we'll say like in the past 5 years, the way it absolutely launched off the ground. And he was one of those guys where it's like it was him and one other person, and they would do really kick-ass like reviews of supercars and hypercars, like the LaFerrari and stuff like that. Gotcha. And it was all very well done. He was a very good presenter, and it was all very well shot, very well edited. Eventually, it got to the point where they wanted him on board a bigger team. So the Drive picked him up, and then that lasted for, I don't know, like a year or two. And then shortly after, he got the call to do Top Gear. Oh. So after Jeremy Clarkson, Richard Hammond, James May left Top Gear, they needed a whole new group of hosts to fill in, and Harris is so far the only one that's survived. The couple years.
I know, because wasn't like Joey from Friends on there?
Yeah. Matt LeBlanc was a host. There was another guy, Chris Evans, who everyone absolutely despised, and now there's like two other people who are just again have no business doing this job at Top Gear. I wish that they would have used Rory Reid a bit more, because the one thing I think like that whoever's in charge of putting Top Gear together for the hosts is that they can't just look for guys who are good at entertainment. Like you got to have a guy like a Chris Harris. Like Chris Harris basically had the same roots as Clarkson, Hammond, and May, where they were automotive journalists first, turned out to be really good at camera, and then they got the call. And Harris is really good at what he does. And anyway, apparently he really likes the Z28 so much that he bought one. And, big automotive enthusiast celebrity, essentially. And this guy goes out and he buys a 5th gen Camaro Z28, who he had to import it right to England.
Yeah.
Which is another cool story. And he just bought it for like a track toy. And by the way, like the Camaro was never offered in right-hand drive. So like he was willing to put up with having a left-hand drive car in a right-hand drive country. And all the other like quirks about the Z28. Like I don't know if his was built with air conditioning or not, but it's a really stealthy black one. And I forget, I don't know. It might have even sold by now. Let's see. Collecting Cars was the platform being sold, and if you auction ends in 9 days, current bid 40,000 British pounds sterling. So who knows that? I don't know if those are pesos or so. Yeah. So basically, if you get the winning bid, on top of getting the car, you actually get to meet Chris Harris, and
that's decent.
You get to have lunch with him and some hot laps in the car to see what it can can do.
I think that's a drive it too.
That'd be kind of cool.
Yeah. So the other thing about Harris is like he's a big racer. He'll do vintage racing at Goodwood and he'll participate in other motorsports events too. So he's very much like a hot shoe, and you gotta respect him for that too. Like because he's the whole package, and he definitely makes the big bucks for being the whole package. But yeah, he's apparently, my favorite Camaro. It's cool to see that it's his too.
Nice.
His Wikipedia page says he started on Jalopnik.
I mean, he definitely wrote a couple things.
In 2014.
In 2014, he wrote about how much he hated it might have even been farther back, but how much he hated the Detroit Auto Show. He's like, oh, it's cold, and when you walk into the building, it smells like farts. And I'm just like...
Well, it does. He's right.
Yeah, just whatever, man. You big. I was just like, it's just a big eye roll. Oh, you have to come to Michigan because it's cold. Tough it up, pansy. I don't care. Think I'm gonna feel for you? I don't care.
No.
You ever spent any time in England? Yeah. You want to come and drive a car in the rain?
Yeah. No. Yeah. Can you imagine like just constantly trying to do like video shoots and photo shoots, and it's just like, well, it's pouring rain. And we have to do this anyway, so it's like the car is just
deal with it.
Yeah, you're hydroplaning everywhere, and your videographer standing out there with a poncho.
That's what made Top Gear great, though. Sometimes they would go crazy with cars in the rain. I'm just surprised that he would even be seen in an American car, because typically Top Gear hated American cars, especially Jeremy Clarkson.
Yeah, Clarkson. Yeah. What was his quote for the C6 Z06? He says it drives better than the Ferrari, but he would, rather than live with a Z06, he'd rather have bird flu.
Yeah.
Wow.
But I love that video where they test drove my car.
I'd rather
Because they really
have
did.
bird flu.
If they put opinion aside, that the Z06 trounced the Ferrari for a lot less money. So that's cool. I want to know who's going to buy it. We'll find out, I guess, in a few
think Clarkson
days.
did end up buying a ZR1 C6 though.
Oh, gotcha.
Or he said he was going to. I don't know if he actually. I'm pretty sure he's bought something American. And Hammond, he loves American trucks and muscle cars too. So
Cool.
I'm sure he's read the site.
Nice.
Oh yeah.
Other car news before we wrap here. SEMA's coming up. Everybody get your SEMA plans in. Chris, you and I are going to be there. Man, are you going to be there?
I'm looking into it.
Yes.
All right. Well, you better look harder and be there because
We're already planning. We're already planning for our meet and greet, which should be that Wednesday night. Before, what is it? Wednesday? Is it November
third
or 4th? Around
something
there.
like that. Are you going to make a Facebook invite?
I am. I will,
Okay.
because we have to host it at a new place this year, because the place we've been hosting it at for the last 4 or 5 years
Yeah, Thunder from Down Under is
closed. They closed it. They closed, and they're redoing the whole section upstairs there. So, but there's a really cool barcade at MGM Grand.
Ooh.
That has Street Fighter and has all sorts of cool. And it's wide open. You walk around. It's awesome. I forget what it's called, but that's where we're going to do our meet and greet.
There's an arcade bar in downtown Detroit called Ready Player One.
Oh yeah.
There's one in downtown Nashville called 2 Bits.
Nice. My first arcade bar experience was in Chicago. There's like 3 or 4 of them.
Actually, I think the one in Chicago owns the one here in Nashville.
Oh really?
Same company. I was told that once.
There's the Emporium, and what's the other one? The headquarters. So I would say like back in like 2011, 12.
We have a headquarters here too. Okay, so we have 2 of them.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, so I think like almost 10 years ago there was just one headquarters and there was just one Emporium, and now there's like 3 of each in Chicago. Yeah, it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. It is. Let's see what else is going on. SEMA LS Fest 5 days away. I'm going to be at that.
You're going to LS Fest this year? It's
I'm going to LS Fest this year.
It's in Bowling Green again, right?
Bowling Green. Well, there's LS Fest and LS Fest West. I'll be up there. I'll cover some stuff and just kind of hanging out and saying hi. Hopefully the weather holds out. Looks like it's so far so good. And not to wrap on a down note, but we did lose an icon in racing and vehicular entertainment. Jessi Combs passed away in an unfortunate accident trying to break her own land speed record as the fastest woman on the planet. Unfortunately, she was unable to slow down the 52,000 horsepower, 56-foot long land speed vehicle after she completed her run across the dry lake bed of the Alvord Desert, according to Yahoo Entertainment. Ended up traveling beyond the designated safety area. I remember watching her on Extreme Off-Road and seeing her. She was on Mythbusters for an episode or 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
She could wrench, she could weld, she could drive. She won King of the Hammers, and she died doing what she loves, as they say. And they're not kidding. So.
Wow. That's crazy.
It's a bummer. She was a cool personality, and I think everybody liked her.
Yeah, I think we lost one of the really good ones.
The Alvord Desert.
Yep.
It's in Oregon?
Oregon.
Oof. That's crazy. Yeah. Well, moving on. Next week, we're not going to have a new show, but we will do a best of episode. Not available to record. But we will be back at you the following week. And what else is going on?
Boy,
was there one other thing?
Can't think of anything.
Okay,
that's good.
That's good.
But anyway, we'll always get your voicemails and emails in. Did
that's right. Yeah, we didn't because of the show this week. We're not doing any voicemails, emails. So get those in. I'm not going to play the bumper here. Everybody knows it. 586-486-3182. Get them in, or just email us.
Yeah. Get him in. We got a lot to talk about. And always a pleasure to have Manny here in the office from
Muscle Cars and Trucks.
MuscleCarsandTrucks.com. Yeah.
Love it.
Thanks
Pleasure.
for joining as always.
Thank you.
We'll have you back in the studio again very soon.
Hopefully soon.
And we will see you guys not next week, but the week after that. See ya.
See ya.
Thanks for listening to The Camaro Show.
Don't forget, drop us a voicemail at 586-486-3182.
We'll see you next week. See ya.
See ya.